This is Between the Lines, presented by Continental Diamond. I'm Tatum Everett. This is Ben Leber, and the Vikings 2024 season comes to an end with a 27-9 defeat against the Rams here in the wild card round of the NFL playoffs. And Ben, you just left a very somber Vikings locker room. How would you describe it?
You know, it's a weird mix of emotions because everybody knows that the season's over. You're extremely disappointed. There's sadness. But at the same time, I think that there's a lot of appreciation and gratitude that was going around the locker room too. You know, everybody's making the rounds, dapping each other up, giving hugs, having special moments with each other, telling each other how much they love them, how much they appreciate them. And, you know, you can't help but actually feel sort of, you know, loved in that whole situation.
Sure.
It's a weird dichotomy to be in emotionally, where you hate that the season's over and you want it so bad for certain reasons and so many reasons. And you want to be upset by the way you played and you couldn't get it done, but yet you can't leave angry. You know, you don't want to leave your teammates in that sort of way, and you want to show them how much you appreciate them. So it's a very tough situation.
It really is. Watching head coach Kevin O'Connell come into his press conference, he was also looked like he had a very emotional, was still very raw. Everything was still kind of out in the open. He said that it stings, it hurts, and they want to use that feeling as fuel moving forward. However, we have to look back on what transpired tonight, and after the Rams got out to an early start, the defense was able to make some adjustments. What were they to be able to kind of stymie that offense there in the beginning?
Well, I really think it came down to, I believe, their third possession when Gernard actually got to him on a quarterback hit. And their MO for the first two series, where on first down they were going to play action and throw the ball down the field. And on the third series, they just told our guys, it must have been a communication on the sideline where B-Flow was like, just go. I don't care that it's first down. Don't play the run. They're trying to hit us on some deep shots on first down, so just let's take a risk and let's just go. I really think from that point on, it kind of ruined a little bit of their flow. Then they had to second guess about when they want to call play action, when they want to take their shots, and they sort of regressed back into what we thought they were going to be going into the game. Short, quick passing game, get the run game going a little bit. And so all of a sudden now our game plan really started to work out against what they were doing. So it was a little bit of both. I think we caught them on that first down, and they said, whoop, all right, they kind of figured us out right now, and we don't have them on their heels as much as we did in the first two drives.
You mentioned the Gernard quarterback hit, which turned into the scoop and score from Blake Cashman. It was at first called a sack fumble, scoop and score, and the Vikings would have, really been in the mix at that point. What did you see from the field as it was called a forward pass instead?
I feel like it was the wrong call. I think a lot of people, I don't know how you can watch the game and be a fan of football and have seen a lot of different plays like that. And there's very apparent attempts to throw the ball forward from a quarterback that's in duress. That situation, Stafford's got his head down. He doesn't even know, he probably knows that there's a wide receiver in an area before his head goes down. And then it was barely a flip of the football. Now, in a situation like that is a shovel pass. So you can do that.
Sure.
But that was barely a movement forward. It looked like he just sort of dropped the ball like this. And so in that situation, to be so declarative about nope, that was an incomplete pass, I'm baffled by it. And I talked to Jonathan Gernard about it as well.
What did he say?
And he's like, look, he was very classy about it. He did not want to put anybody on blast, but he's like, all we're asking for defensively when the game's sort of geared against us is consistency. Where's the consistency in some of these calls? And, I think everybody has to agree with him. We don't know what we're going to get from week to week.
The defense, this is the first game now this season that we've had, they did not record a turnover, which was alarming. And then you also, on the other side of things, have given up 9 sacks on Sam Darnold. What did you see from the Rams front that was so hard to be able to protect the quarterback tonight?
It was a matter of them just mixing up where the pressure was coming from. They do a great job. I mean, they were either bottom third of the league in the number of blitzes that they want to run, but they're also top 10 in the league in pressures generated. So they trusted their front four. And what they were able to do was to bring some exotic blitzes and rushes from guys outside that core,
Okay.
and then drop defensive players as well. So in the end, it's a 4-man rush
Right.
when you tallied up. But it was a cornerback, it was a slot receiver. One of the sacks, it looked like they had man coverage on a tight end blocks. They sort of green dogged that situation, and they just rushed right past him, completely unblocked. So they were 4-man exotic rushes that really caught us off guard.
Yeah, 8 of the 9 sacks tonight were 4-man rushes, and there were also 24 pressures, which seemed to be the case. Kevin O'Connell saying that they just gave up too many pressures and that there were too many negative plays, that they suffered from too many negative plays the last 2 weeks, really, from that getting their offense going. But we've had some really fun moments this season, Ben. You don't go 14-4 in a season and not have some amazing times. You have the 5-win streak to open up the season. Everyone's doubting you. You put that out there. Then you go on a 9-game win streak. Again, a lot of doubt. And so it's unfortunate to see it come to a close. How will you remember this season?
Well, only one team really gets to celebrate at the end of the year. Obviously, we wanted to win more than just this wild card game. We wanted to keep going on. But, I'll remember this as just a team that exceeded everybody's expectations exponentially. And, a lot of the people around the country thought this team was going to win 6 or 7 games. And nobody knew what we had in Sam Darnold. You have the injury status to J.J. McCarthy, which everybody was very excited about since the day of the draft. And, that really put the whole spotlight on Sam. And he came out and outperformed everybody's expectations. You saw the way the team rallied behind this guy that's been a cast off of other teams that never lived up to his draft expectations. And, for him to find the love of football again and to do it here, I think was really, really fun to watch. We saw a defense that had a bunch of new pieces. And a lot of people thought, what are we going to get out of these guys? Who is this Van Ginkel guy? Where did he come from?
Now he is second-team All-Pro.
Absolutely. And so I think there was a lot of bright, shining moments. Cash, Gernard, Harrison Smith out there still doing it. Some great play by some interior defensive linemen. So, there was a lot of bright spots. And certainly this is sour. This doesn't feel great.
Yeah.
But when we reflect on it, we're going to say a lot of appreciation for what these guys did this year.
I couldn't agree with you more. It was a really special locker room. I think that's what I'll remember the most, is that when you have teams that are able to put together seasons like this, there's just some it factor that they have to find. You have to have that type of being on the same page between the coaching staff and the players. And this locker room was incredibly tight. And I think that's why it was so somber and sad / respectful in a way today when you walked in there.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing. Like, they all know what it means, and they all understand that, yes, they are going to be pissed off and they're going to be upset. Their body's sort of like numb and in shock right now, and I'm sure that in the days after this, after they have their exit meetings, after they go home, after they just kind of settle in, there are going to be some times where they look at the last couple of games and just think about the what ifs, the missed opportunities, and they are going to be a little upset. But I think the amount of gratitude is going to supersede that, and they're going to be so appreciative for the season that they had and for the brotherhood that they created in 2024.
Well, Ben, I'm appreciative for you for doing
You too,
Between the
Tatum.
Lines again. It's been incredibly fun to be able to break down the game with you each and every week. We thank you so much for tuning into the Vikings Entertainment Network content each and every week. It won't stop just because the season has, so stay tuned to us and Skol Vikings, because
Skol
it really was an incredible 2024.